Hi everyone. Today's episode is not going to be about real estate, but it is something that's near and dear to my heart. So many of my clients, particularly those that are ages 50 or more, feel that they have maybe nothing more to contribute and no way to earn extra or supplemental income. And that is not the case. Today I'm going to interview a client, a friend, a colleague who is basically a freelance coach who counsels people over 50 and gets their skill set so that they can bring those skills online to work remotely from anywhere in the world and earn extra income. So stay tuned. Sarah BRIETLANDER here, co-owner of KRAIN Luxury Real Estate.
And today I'd like to show you one of our top luxury listings.
Hi everyone, Sarah BRIETLANDER here with KRAIN Luxury Real Estate, and today we are not going to talk about beautiful homes in Costa Rica. We're not even going to talk about the real estate market generally. Today we're going to do something different that I really wanted to do, and thank you for being here. I'm here with a past client, a friend, a colleague, Jeannie Ballou, and Jeannie is fascinating to me, and I feel like I want to introduce her to our followers here because she does something very special. Jeannie is a freelance coach who basically counsels people, typically age 50 or older,
50 or older,
to bring their skill set kind of online.
exactly.
And which allows them to earn supplemental income or greater than supplemental income at maybe an age they didn't expect they could.
Exactly.
And also allows them, most importantly, and I think so relevant to this channel, the freedom to do that work wherever they want in the world.
Yes.
To work remotely. And so I think this is just such a cool topic. So thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I love
Today.
being here on your channel. Hi, everybody.
Right?
I used to be right where you guys are. I still am. Looking at her.
Exactly. So this is really cool because I have a lot of clients who asked me, I mean, most of my clients, I guess, just in the business that I'm in, are able to buy second homes here or primary homes here. My client base is 50 or over, and sometimes they can afford to buy a home down here, and it's no problem.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the inquiry.
Yeah.
Other clients ask me, or I know at least they're wondering how in the world they can make that move, because they do need to still earn income, right? And I have a lot of clients who are actually looking for homes, and they specifically tell me, I want a home with a guest house or a casita, because they're thinking, when I move down, I want to rent my property out to earn that supplemental income, which is a wonderful solution to that
What
problem.
we've been doing.
But I think what you're bringing to the table is another solution to that problem that doesn't involve a specific piece of real estate to help that supplemental income come in. And you're really opening doors for a lot of people. So that's why I wanted to have you on the show today. So thanks for being here. And tell us a little bit about what you do, how you started this. You're down here with your husband, James.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Jeannie here. So James and I found ourselves, like many people, I was about 58 at the time, in a career, doing it the right way, all the things that you do.
Where were you?
We were at the time in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
We are from California, but we spent 10 years in Charlotte.
Okay.
And like many people, that was happening, and then COVID was happening, and we're kind of going, uh-oh, what does this mean for us? Like many people had this conversation.
Right.
And so we were really talking about moving. Like, this is a good time. We're upright. We're standing here. I was about 58 at the time. I'm 63 today.
Okay.
And so what we were really clear about was we wanted to do this. We wanted to go somewhere, try something new.
Yeah.
But we weren't done earning income. We didn't need to earn the same amount that we had earned in the height of our career. That was clear to us. But we were no means ready to just stop working, right? We weren't near Social Security. And even if we were, which starts at 62, our story was not even to take it till 67. So now we're looking at 10 years and on and on and on. Don't know, but, don't want to grab investments, all of that. So, James had known about freelancing and had heard about, and she's like, you should check into this. And I'm like, everybody going, what? Okay, I've heard the word. It's something it's something other people do, and
Totally.
really honestly, it's something younger people do.
Totally. That is
So-
completely my perception.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I was like, okay. So I started learning how to freelance, and I hired a coach to help me do that.
Okay.
And because I'm really big on teachers and mentors and coaches,
Yeah.
because they get me through things much quicker than
Totally.
me with the trial and error, because
Right.
I'm not so good at
Right.
certain things.
Right.
They're not
Right.
showing me how to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to do it. And I went on to what we call a talent marketplace, which we can talk more about later if you want to. And I started proposing on jobs. And because of my career, like many, I'd done numbers of things, but what was consistent throughout my career was writing. You know, whether you're writing an email or a newsletter or, you know, contracts or whatever. And I was an English major in college, so
Okay.
writing was just always this thread for me. So I said, okay, let me try that. So I went online on one of these talent marketplaces as a content writer, and I started earning money. And the exciting part, Sarah, everybody, was once I knew I could do it, then this opened up. Then it was like, well, if I can do this,
Yeah.
we could go somewhere. And that
You
started
started-
the whole thing.
You started this online process in North Carolina.
Yes, and I still to this day recommend you don't wait until you're done and then you're in urgency or you're in some kind of a terrible strait and you got to nail it
I need
right
money
away.
today.
Yeah, that's just not the way it works. This
Right.
is not passive income. So this isn't like $10,000 a month passive income that you can make while you sleep. That is not what this
Right,
is. This
right.
is a straight shot.
Right. It's not a get rich quick scheme.
No, it
either.
is
Yeah.
not. It actually
Yeah.
like, but you can take the skills that you've already
Yeah.
got that you've been building for 30 years.
Yeah.
So I learned how to do it. So I kind of did this thing where you're working, and I was learning at the same time. So I was kind of doing this
Yeah.
until I kind of went, oh, this is something. And that just kind of opened up our world that we could then do that.
I love, you kind of discovered freedom, you know?
I just couldn't have done it any
Yeah.
other way. And then that's exactly what happened. Then I was like, to say I was inspired is enough to get me cavelling now. I was so inspired by what it allowed me to do that I started figuring out how can I help other people,
Yeah.
if nothing else, just know that this opportunity exists for them. So then I started coaching other people and started a program, and that's what I've been doing.
I love that story. And it's interesting how our paths are a little bit similar because I feel like I still can't believe I'm here. And we've been here for 13 years. So, you know, I kind of look at it, I'm like, I can't believe we made that jump, right? And of course, we're doing something completely different. We're very invested. We have our companies here. We're raising a family here.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm an attorney by trade.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, I always say my job now is so much more fulfilling because I was allowed somehow to pursue my dreams and come down here. And now my job is helping other people do that same thing.
Yes.
And that is very
Exactly.
rewarding.
Yes.
So I think that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And Jeannie's fascinating to me for a few reasons. And the way we met, I thought was great. Do you even remember how we met? I specifically did not bring this up before we sat here today
Oh.
because I want to see if you remember.
Don't.
But basically, I think we had, you know, we're big walkers and runners
Oh,
in the
that's
morning.
it. Yeah, yeah.
And I saw you with your dogs. We would just, whatever,
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
Didn't know your
Office-
name.
Sarah's office hours.
Yeah, my office hours in the morning. We would
Yeah,
just wave,
exactly,
and then we
exactly.
have community chats.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, but you posted on this community chat about a little dog that had escaped. And you were like, who, this dog's out here, who has this dog? And it was one of our employees' dog.
Oh, that was the okay. I remember this little
And
dog.
so we connected because it was Alonzo's dog.
Yes,
And you were like, oh
exactly.
yeah. So we connected and we
Right.
figured out we were
On
the
the
same people that we
road.
saw every morning.
Yeah, the little dog on the road, and
Right.
I stood outside with the little dog until I think Alonzo
Yeah,
got there and
yeah.
got the dog.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then you asked me after we knew each other,
Yeah.
you put a face with a name, you know, when you got ready to sell your home.
Oh, you were
Thank you for calling.
Absolutely.
So we had that relationship, but I kind of love the way we met because I think that's so indicative of our little
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
You see the people, and then you connect with them on a help basis, on a professional basis, and only through working with you and selling your beautiful home did I realize this is what you did
Yeah.
for a living,
Yeah.
and hence we're here. So I love just the multifaceted
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
you know, that we have.
Yeah, I know when Sarah's walking, I always know whether to say hi or just let you go because we walk in the same hood, and I always know these are like the pre-office hours where you get so much work done.
Totally.
Don't bother Sarah right now, and then there's moments where I'll go,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And again, for me, that's like a freedom thing. I've even had people say to me, "Oh, I hate that you have to work while you're walking." I don't look at it like that at all. I look at it as what a beautiful thing that I get to accomplish my work tasks while I'm out walking in the morning on a
Oh, and your
beautiful sunny day.
brain is like,
You
oh
know?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
beautiful.
it's a wonderful thing, and I like that you're bringing this concept of work, which
Yeah.
kind of has a negative connotation, but really it's using your mind,
Yeah.
and it's
For that
earning
age group,
income for
yep.
you.
Yep. Big deal.
And I like that. You had mentioned content writing.
Yeah.
We've hired content writers.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of what it looks
kind
like.
of online platforms are you referring to? And then what? That's one question. And then the second question is like, how would that work for a regular person? Like, what skill? What if they're not writers?
Yeah.
Like, what skills would they need for you to consider them and how you could place them?
Yeah. So the numbers I'm about to give you are a little mind blowing. So first of all, there's about 72 million freelancers in the United States right now. They're anticipating,
Wow.
yeah, and they're anticipating it going up to about 90.1 million in the next 2 years. More
Who
than
are
50,
these people?
More than 50% of them are women.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see. So the statistics will show that almost any age group is somewhere around 30% of that demographic. And of course, the younger people are even more so than older people. Again, I'm 63. I'm an older person.
So minimum is 30% of these people
Somewhere
are
around there.
working on an online platform selling their services.
No, just freelancing. That's it.
Freelancing.
So
Okay.
what's really good to know, thank you for bringing that up, is that anything you do with the phone, like, Uber and Lyft, those are all gig economy. Everything's on the phone or the computer. So it's kind of all bunched into one thing,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Freelancing, though, on a platform, that's where the 30% in those different demographics
Okay.
come in. Boomers, so for those listening, just look up Generation Jones. If you're born between 1955 and 1965, it's a
Okay.
subset of a boomer. Because a lot of us are called boomers, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I'm not a boomer. I don't have those thoughts. That's not my point of view. I'm
Yeah.
not screaming about things. So there's this thing called a Generation Jones, which is
Oh.
a subset of a boomer. And a lot of people watching us are probably in that subset. They're right
Okay.
now going, okay, I got to check that out. But like around 26% or so of what they're calling boomers are somewhere in the gig economy. So they're either freelancing online, they're running DoorDash, Uber, they're doing it for all different
Okay.
reasons. People are paying
Okay.
off debt, they're supplementing
Yeah.
their income, they don't want to touch their investments. And a lot of people that I talk to are doing it while they still have a full-time job. And a lot of it is, ageism. Ageism is alive and well if you're over 50. I didn't stop dyeing my hair until I was moving down here.
Ageism. Define ageism.
Ageism is companies, corporations, the world working against you because of what they think about who you are.
Prejudices against getting older.
Right? If you get older, right? And I know I talk to a lot of people, and they lose sleep, right? Like, what's going to happen? Are they going to go in a different direction? Am I going to get laid off? Or if people aren't working, they're not getting the jobs because younger people are getting the jobs, and it's a really tough place to be.
Stressful.
It's a very stressful place to be.
So for that reason, you feel like that's where these percentages are coming in. People are supplementing their main jobs
Yep.
with these other
Yep.
part-time gigs.
Either that, or they're already without a job and they're doing it, and
Right.
they're working to get by. Now, a talent marketplace, just because you asked that, is you guys are familiar with them probably because of what they've seen in ads. So Fiverr is a talent marketplace.
We source.
Upwork.
As a company, we source both of those.
Yes, those are talent marketplaces. So the idea is at any given time, for example, Upwork, which is where I do most of my work and where I actually coach people.
Okay.
There's over 200,000 jobs at any given time of people like you that are looking for specific skills.
Yeah.
And then there are freelancers that come on, and they cover over 10,000 skills.
Wow.
10,000. And the idea is there's clients already looking.
Yeah.
Rather than people in a certain age group that I work with that think they're going to just go out and consult. It's not a consulting. You can
Right.
get hired to consult, but they're already sitting there. They're
Right.
already looking for you.
Yeah.
Then you got to figure out how to get the job.
I mean, I'm like having this realization that we are, I guess, people who we're a company who hires people
You're one of
on
the
those
200,000
platforms.
jobs that people are looking for content writing,
Yeah.
you know, whatever those copywriting, video editing, all those different things that you might need.
I'm glad you brought that up because when I first discovered what you did, you had mentioned something about, and I want you to state this on this video because you had mentioned something about some people come to you and they're like, I owned a plumbing business for 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, I run a plumbing company. How can I possibly have something to contribute that would help me, you know, be a candidate for what you're trying to coach here?
Yeah.
And what's your response to that?
Yeah. So one of the very first thing I do with any client is we do a skill set assessment. That makes most sense. That's the
step
biggest
one.
thing is people don't know. And I just want to be clear that I work with people that are like doctors and lawyers, and they can't imagine what they would do. So then I work with people like you're mentioning. I have a client, and she owned and ran a cleaning business for 30 years. And she's like, well, I can't
clean.
toilets. Yeah,
Can't
online.
clean online.
Right.
I mean, I get that thought
Yeah,
process.
Absolutely. But what I know about her is what it takes to run a business. There's so many skills involved, from customer service, assistance, you know, writing, organizational skills, finance, knowing how to work QuickBooks and Quicken if she's running her business, you name it.
Right.
We get confused that our job title or what we do is who we are.
Yeah.
But under those job titles and what we do for 30, 35 years are all these skills. Just a never-ending amount of skills, which is what people can bring to a platform. They're not going to hire you to run their cleaning business.
Right.
But she just recently wrote me, like a week or two ago, that she got a virtual assistant job, which is what she was going after.
Totally.
And I'm like, you would be a great virtual assistant. She's super fun. She's 62, super fun, got a great sense of humor. Some things she knows how to do a lot, but there's certain things she doesn't. And this lady, she proposed on a job, and this lady says, you know, I know you don't know how to do all of this, but I love your attitude.
Yeah.
And I think you could learn no problem.
Yeah.
And
we train our people all the time. Nobody knows how to do exactly what we do in our company. You
Yeah.
have to train them. We just want someone with the determination and the knowledge.
And she's just over the moon because she knew she had to get out of that physically, emotionally, like all everybody. A job after 30, 35 years, it's not like you would necessarily want to stop using your skills or being of service or being engaged or purposeful or relevant. You just might not want to do it under the hammer of the work that you've been doing. So it's just it's not just, but you know, how do you shift that? And it's a mindset more than anything.
What a beautiful new chapter too. You don't have to do the same thing you've been doing for 20 or 30 years. You know, you get to be in a completely new environment. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's inspiring and a whole new challenge.
And it helps people too. Just, you know, there's people I've talked to that are caregivers. You know, they're sandwich generation. They're between parents and kids, and they're looking for how to do something else because jobs aren't necessarily friendly to caregivers, and that's all over the news. Like, you can look that up, no problem. So there's all kinds of people that are just looking for, how do I do something different? And like you said earlier, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. So you got to learn it, and you got to do it, and it takes resilience and some courage, but it's there, and I'm the walking proof that you can do it.
Yeah. I love it. I love that you're walking proof that you can do it. And you also, you know, offer a service that for me is like, I mean, I'm big on inspiration.
Yes,
I'm big on like life-changing thoughts and processes and try to better yourself personally, in every direction.
Yeah.
But it's also one thing I feel like to say it inspirationally and actually to put it in place, like how to do that. And that's why I like what you do. So just because I could go on and on about this, but I know we have to wind it down at some point. Tell kind of our viewers what you do specifically with clients. Like, what would the step process be if someone out there, not even you, or not even moving to Costa Rica, I think is important. This is not about Costa Rica real estate, quite honestly, and it's not about selling your services, although you can do both of those things.
Right. But you can do this
more
anywhere.
about how you could do this anywhere using someone, and if they want to use you, awesome, and if they want to move to Costa Rica, amazing.
Yeah.
But how does that even work?
Well, I'm going to Spain now, so that's why
I sold your house.
Yes, I'm going
to be with grandkids, and you have that freedom to follow your grandkids to Europe.
That's sort
which
of
is
the idea.
pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I'm happy, sad, very happy, sad.
Yeah, I'm just sad because you're leaving.
But now you have friends in Spain.
I do.
Well, there you go.
And I think you said you
Yeah.
had started off with a one-on-one coaching scenario,
Yeah.
but you may be changing that up, quite frankly, due to the demand. So how, if I was here,
Yeah.
if I was in North Carolina, and I was maybe toying with the idea of buying a home or moving to Costa Rica, like, and that's 5 years away, how
Yeah.
would I start that process?
Yeah. So I'm glad that you said the 5 years thing, because one of the things I really do say to people is don't wait until you're ready. It's an adage, but by the time you're ready, you're late, right? Then it's like scramming. So
It's
you
so
just
true.
kind of want to do that. I'm doing it now. I got it now. I can be learning while I'm doing it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Preparing.
yeah. When was the last time a lot of us ever, I mean, I'll just say this. Only one time in my 35-year career did anybody ask me to learn something new. Otherwise, it was staying in my lane, stay in scope. The only thing I ever had to learn new was getting my notary, like the certification. That was it.
In how many years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was always doing something else. I mean, I have a lot of certifications because I like to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the first thing I do with people always is a skill set assessment, like we discussed. That's got to happen. The next thing is, how do you write a profile to put online? Now, a profile is not a resume. So a lot of us come from the background of, the resume,
Yes.
no more than 2 pages,
Yes.
and how do you show the,
Degrees
and how do you, so how do you write a profile different than a resume? What is somebody online looking for? What are the keywords? How to use keywords and phrases, and where do you put it on your profile? And it's like that.
And you
So-
walk them through that process.
Yeah, the first thing I do is I write their profile for them. So that's the first
Okay.
thing, right? That's part of my service, but it's with them, right? Nobody's going to stand for a profile that doesn't actually reflect them, and they
Sure.
can't stand and go, "This is me."
Sure.
Usually
Sure.
it's like, "Wow, I didn't know I was that good," but I'm not
Right.
lying about
Right.
anything,
You're
right?
just polishing the stone that's
Polishing
already
big
there.
time. Right, exactly. But they learn the process while they're working with me. The other thing I work on is online on the platform, they look for portfolio items. Like, how do you show somebody with credibility that you have credibility and trust? So I work with people to pull out some pieces from their career, or if they don't have them, because some people leave jobs and they don't have a flash drive with all their stuff on it, they're like, I never thought of that. We can build them at that moment. So we get a couple of portfolio items in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Then we start looking at jobs and clients. Like, a job and a client is not good just because it's on a platform. So how do you differentiate and distinguish a good job and a good client from a bad job and a bad client? So there's all kinds of filters in there, and
That's amazing.
yeah. So you don't just
That's
don't
the
even,
difference between success and not success.
Yeah.
Is the client that you're choosing to work with,
right.
really, and the
Yeah.
type of work, whether you can do it or not.
Whether you can do it or not, whether they're going to answer you or not, whether they have good reviews as well, because clients are
Right.
reviewed as well.
Good.
So there's all those kinds of things to be looking at as well. And then there's, how do you write a good, compelling proposal? What is a proposal? How many words? How do you do it? What are the keywords and phrases or playback words to use? Where do you locate those in the profile? In the proposal. So we practice
Wow.
all that. We practice how to search for jobs and clients. We practice how do you write a proposal. Practice. Then when you're on the platform, they have a free platform, right? And then you can also pay and subscribe. I don't really recommend anybody subscribe until they're gonna go after it in earnest.
Yeah.
Because you can do enough free, but once you're gonna go after in earnest, you pay, and it's like $20 a month. So it's not like something most of us can't afford if we don't go buy a cup
Right.
of coffee a couple times a month, right?
Right.
And then once you're doing that, then there's all kinds of bidding you can do, and you can pay attention to how people bid. It really is this, there's this whole world going on
Yeah.
of people that learn how to do this
Right.
stuff, and they do it, right? And
I never even knew about it.
Yeah.
And we've hired those people, but
Yeah.
I guess I've never just been on that. And I can tell you're super dialed in. I mean, you're like a surgeon with
It's
this
kind
stuff.
of a
This
loop
is not
that I do with people.
Let's get up and
Yeah.
find a new. This is how you do it.
We take it step by step.
Yeah.
And then I coach them all the way through. It's usually a once a week kind of thing. Some people get through it in like a 3 month, if you do once a month kind of thing.
Okay.
I have some people that are 9 months out. I don't go anywhere. Right, you're paying me to help you get to the point, which is getting your first 2 to 3 jobs, whatever that looks like.
Okay.
But then some people just take longer because life interrupts.
And so the
Things
coaching
happen.
process is from that first phone call and that talent assessment, skill assessment, to you've got the hang of it now, you've gotten 2 or 3 jobs under your belt, and you're ready to fly.
more or less, and I
Yeah.
don't go
or longer if needed.
yeah, and I laugh with people because it's not like I go anywhere. I
Right.
mean, like the woman I just talked about, we've gotten really friendly. I really
Yeah.
like her. She's super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And you want
Yeah.
to know people that are doing the things
Right.
that you're doing. So that's sort
great.
of what it looks like. And we don't have to do it alone then. Oh, and then, yes, I am. That's a one-to-one coaching model.
Right.
So right now, I am working on building that to a one-to-many coaching model where it's going to be self-paced. I'll be part of the coaching. I'm interviewing people right now, just talking to people, no selling, just talking to people over 50 about what are you learning, what do you care about, what are your goals, what are some of your frustrations and fears. And the purpose of my interviews is to really learn more about people and what they're looking for. So as I build this platform, this process, I'm really dialed into what people want. So that's what I'm in the middle of right now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it
Yeah.
because I mean, I feel like we're doing the same things. Like I keep making this comparison, but even in real estate, it's like, okay, what are people looking for? And then how can you help more?
Yeah.
They need property management services after they buy.
Yeah.
You can't just sell a house and be like, I mean, you can. There are
Right.
people out there who sell a house and
Yeah.
have a nice day. We're not one of them.
No, you're not.
You need a property management company to make sure they have continued enjoyment, that make sure what they're buying here is a success
Right.
in the long run. They need accounting services,
Right.
and you have to, until you talk to those people.
Yeah.
And
And they need
really
human
realize
beings
the
that will
need.
answer a phone
Yeah.
or pick up or email with them or text or whatever it is
Yeah.
to just be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot online right now and a lot of people get frustrated, but I don't think the human aspect of this is ever going to go away.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
shouldn't.
It's like,
Yeah.
I love when I call somebody and they answer their phone or they'll answer me on a WhatsApp. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, thank you for being there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
For sure, for sure. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I love what you're doing. I love that you're leading by example. I mean, you've lived in Costa Rica, now a grandkid's born, you're going to Europe, and it's not half bad. And I
a
love
lot.
that you want to share that experience with other people.
Yeah.
You're really going for it.
Yeah.
And I can tell you love what you do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
so much fun.
I hope you found this helpful. I found it inspirational. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
We're going to put Jeannie's contact information below. Feel free to reach out to her directly. Thank you so much for joining
You're
us.
so welcome. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See you later, guys. Thank you.
Bye.